So when you think about planks, the next word you think of might not be party, but if you hang out with me, that is exactly what happens. Today we're going to look at a bunch of variations of planks, and we're going to start with the red band to help us find the best form and the best results from every plank we do from here on out. Let's get started. All right, so if you have a red band, let's grab it. We're going to come onto our knees and take the red band just below your shoulder blades. You want to keep it nice and flat. It goes below the shoulder blades, and one stretch goes into each hand. From here, the hands go down onto the mat, and we're going to start keeping the knees down and the tops of feet flat. We're going to start by finding our transverse abdominis, which is our deepest layer of the core. From here, guys, we're going to have hands shoulder width, tops of feet are flat, and the red band is behind your back, nodding the chin, rounding the spine, and really finding that flexion and broadness across the middle back. Now we're going to imagine a hammock under the ribs, and that hovers the knees up and off of the mat, and then float them back down. We're just going to do this a few more times just to access the deep abdominals, finding that lifting sensation close to the spine, rather than finding a sensation of gripping or kind of bracing your abs from the outside. So really go for that internal lift. Now that we have that connection found, we're going to flip the toes under and we're going to go into a 4-point kneel hover. So now we're going to again inhale for length, exhale thinking about the femur bones picking up and off the mat, but again not with a bracing or a pushing sensation. You can allow the knees to touch back down one more time. Broaden the collarbones for length on the inhale. Float the knees up off the mat, find that deep abdominal connection, and then we're going to step the right foot back into a plank position and the left foot back into a plank position. We're holding and breathing here. Every inhale broadens the fibers of that red band, and every exhale narrows our ribs around the spine. So that red band really helps us to activate through the middle back rather than dumping into the wrists, elbows, or shoulders. You don't need to have it, but that's the idea. You can even imagine it in your mind's eye, and it will help your body find that effort. We're going to hold here for 8 more seconds. Breathing an inhale to broaden the red band. Last 3, 2, and bring one knee down at a time. We're going to go ahead and set that red band to the side. You can roll out your wrists if you need to. We're going to go into a side plank with flexion with our right hand down. So the right hand comes onto the mat. We're going to step the right foot in front of the left and go into your best side plank. Left arm comes up and overhead, and we're going to inhale as we arc, lifting from under the bottom ribs. Exhale, return to plank. Inhale as we lengthen and lift, lots of length on all sides of the body. Exhale, return to start. Making sure we're not dumping into the wrist or the elbow. You want to send breath there with every inhale. Inhaling as we lift and arc. Exhaling back to start. Let's do 2 more like that. This is going to be the last one. Lots of lift and length. Bring it back to start. And with control, lower your hips down to the mat. We're going to come onto our knees. This is our kneeling hinge, and it's essentially a kneeling plank position, but we're upright rather than facing down towards the floor. Hands are alongside the body, knees are 4 inches apart parallel, and keeping a long line in the body, we're going to lean back. So you have a line from the crown of your head down through the spine to the knees as we hold. So we're holding this long line. Think about the psoas drawing up as the tailbone melts down, and you'll feel that deep core connection firing on immediately. To up the challenge a little bit, we are going to go into single arm rotations. So hold that lean, and then we're going to open the left arm as the rib basket opens, the pelvis does not move, and bring it back to start. Inhale, right side opens as we rotate. Exhale, back to start. Inhale as we rotate. Exhale to start. Long length, really think about the tailbone melting down even as we rotate. This is going to be the last one on the left. And the last one on the right. Both hands come down and return to an upright position. Coming onto our feet, we're going to find how we can find core work even when we're standing. So starting in a closed parallel position with our feet, Think about the inner thighs spiraling forward, and that's gonna help us access the inner thighs, pelvic floor, low belly, and all the way into the glute med at the waistline. The idea here is not to change our height while we're bending our knees, and that's gonna require our abs to fire on. So let's get started. Keeping your height the same, don't lower your height at all. Bend your knees as much as you can, and straight away you're gonna start to feel the abdominals drawing up in opposition as your knees bend downbound. Then we're gonna stay the same height, inner thighs magnetized to bring it back together. Exhale, the inner thighs spiral forward as your height stays the same and your abdominals work in opposition. And then we're gonna return to standing. So you can almost think of this as an upright plank. You can bring your arms forward. It's gonna increase cardio challenge and just kind of train your body, give you some muscle memory of the deep abdominal connection when our hands and our feet are on the floor. Let's do 3 more here. Tailbone heavy, psoas are drawing up the front side of the body in order to melt the tailbone long to keep your pelvis neutral. This is going to be our last one, really accessing the deep abdominals and the low belly. And bring it back to start. We're going to go into a plank with a tiny pike, and we're focusing on the same deep abdominal area, finding that connection now that we're going to be back down into a plank position. So we're going to go into first position with our heels touching, toes turned out like we just were. And we're going to inhale, lengthen the pelvis up and back. And straight away find that low belly connection as we work. And then exhale, come into your plank. Inhale, think about a seat belt, like when you're on an airplane, drawing you up and back, and then sending it back into your plank. Inner thighs are magnetized, lengthening up and back. And return to your plank on the exhale. Sitting bones are broadening. Heels are glued together to help you find that low belly connection. Let's do 2 more of those. This is going to be our last one. Who's having fun at the party? I am. And bring it back to your plank, and both knees come all the way down. We're going to go into a reverse plank with a step out. So take your hands onto your mat. If it's more comfortable for you to send your fingertips off the edges of the mat, that works too. We're going to take the hands behind the shoulders. We're going to keep the feet in parallel, closed position. And right away, we're going to think about the glutes and the core working with the hamstrings to lengthen the body up and back into your best diagonal line. The trick is to keep your head in line with your spine rather than jutting it forwards. Keep your head in line with your spine, lift off of the shoulders. And all we're going to do now is take the right leg off the mat and bring it back through center. If that feels like a great big range of movement for your body, you can make it smaller. We don't want the pelvis to move. So you can do a smaller step back through center, staying on the mat. Or for more challenge, you can go all the way off of the mat. Keeping the spine long. Think about that hinge we did earlier, where we have the psoas on the front side of the body drawing up to lengthen the tailbone long and keep the middle and low back organized. 1 more to the right. 1 more to the left. Bring the feet together and slowly hinge the hips back down to the floor. From here, we're going to go into that side plank with our left arm down and our right arm doing the arcing. So the left hand goes onto the mat, left foot is in front of the right, and we're going to lengthen up into our best plank. Right arm floats up and overhead. And on the inhale, think about the bottom ribs lifting. Exhale, bring it back through start. Inhale as we bring it long. Exhale, back through start. You can continue working with your left arm long, or if that feels aggressive to your body, I'm going to show you a modification. You can always choose to do this on your left forearm and your knees stacked. So you can come up and out like this, and it's a less aggressive variation of the same focus for the exercise. Let's do 2 more, no matter which version you're choosing. Bring the right arm down and lower the knees and the hips to the floor. We're going to go into some downhill ski jumps. Again, we're going to really train our body with muscle memory by keeping the arms up. So we're going to lay down onto our backs. We're going to float the arms towards the sky, and we're going to mimic what we do on a jump board in the studios. So we're going to float the right knee up into tabletop, then the left knee up into tabletop. You can choose to take an abdominal curl, or if that's aggressive for your body today, you can leave your head down. On the knee bend, we're gonna flex the feet like so. That's gonna help us access the back line of the body. And then as we extend and swivel the legs, we're gonna open the front side of the ankles, and that's gonna help us find the ab connection. Flexing the feet as you bring it in, inhaling as you lengthen, exhale through center, inhale as you rotate. Notice that the pelvis is staying quiet, and we're accessing deep abdominal challenge by extending the legs, just like we do when we are in a plank position. Inhale nice and long, exhale back through center, swiveling side to side. It gets a beautiful waistline sculpting effect as we challenge the deep abdominals, magnetizing the outer thighs to find the low belly and the inner thighs. We have 2 more. Bring both knees into a tabletop and float the legs down to the floor. We're gonna go into a shallow ab curl. It looks like this. The legs go back long to the floor. Float the arms up to the sky. And if you wanna support your neck, you can also interlace your hands behind the base of your skull. Arms are long, lengthening the head up and off the mat on an inhale. We're gonna go into a shallow abdominal curl. Just try to get your shoulder blades up and off of the mat. And then we're gonna unwind on an exhale, lower back down. Inhale, find length in the spine as you lift. Exhale as you lower down. You can choose to add a little choreography with the arms. That's gonna increase the cardio challenge. Sending one arm up and one arm down as you raise, still lifting with length. Try not to add any wrinkles to your t-shirt or the front side of your body as you rise. Last time, right arm up. And this is gonna be the last time, left arm up. And bring it back down through center. All right, we're gonna redo that curl, but we're gonna do it now in a plank orientation. So we're gonna take our hands onto the mat. It's a plank party. What were you expecting? We're gonna do that now in the opposite direction, stepping back into the plank. And instead of doing a big pike up with the hips, we're gonna nod the chin like we were lifting it off of the mat and round to the upper back just through the shoulder blades, and then unwind into your best plank. Round and curl the upper back, deep abdominal connection, and back to a plank. So it's a very shallow range of movement, but you'll feel really intense work through the entire abdominal wall. Let's do 2 more like that. Last one. And bring both knees down to the mat. We're gonna go into a forearm plank with knee taps. You might start to notice that after you do a bunch of planks, your wrists start to get sore. So you can always choose to do forearm version of any of these planks rather than up on your wrists. And you wanna think about that middle back connection as well. So we're gonna bring our forearms down to the mat, step the feet back behind us in a closed parallel position, and we're gonna go into some knee taps. So as we draw one knee down, the other leg stays long. And again, that gets us into a really sincere waistline focus by bending one leg and extending the other. You can pick up the pace a little bit, get the cardio challenge going, but keep the pelvis quiet and the torso quiet. Outer thighs are magnetized, keep breathing. 6, 5, 4, lifting off the elbows. 3, 2, last one, and bring both knees down. We're gonna go straight into a Wunda twist, hands at the top of the mat, and we're gonna make a mini today so they're even more like a plank. But we're in a twisted position. The pelvis is forward to the side as the shoulders shine parallel to the top of the mat. Right foot is in front of the left. And then we're gonna do a tiny little swivel and lift. This is really gonna target through the low belly and the low waistline. Inhale as you lengthen and reach back. Exhale, unwind. So it's a small reach and lift back. Not a great big range of movement. Really focused through the deep abdominals. Lengthening up and back. Last 2. And last 1. Bring your knee down. And we're gonna go into our last regular old plank hold of the day. So we're gonna flip it around. Hands come to the top of the mat on this side. Feet come to a 4 inches apart parallel position. And we're gonna hold and breathe, thinking about everything we learned about planks today. Find one cue that you liked that was new to you and try to focus on that as we hold and breathe. It's a mind game. You can do this. So can I. Keeping it focused, keeping your breath happening. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and both knees come down. Let's make sure we take care of that Wunda twist on the other side. So hands are gonna stay just about where they were. Left foot comes in front of the right, starting in a twisted plank position, swiveling up and back. Tiny little rotation, up and back. Magnetize those outer thighs. Inhale for that rotation. Find lots of breath in the spine. Last 4. Last 2. This is going to be our last one. And bring both knees all the way down. We're going to finish with a cat-cow stretch. I like to think of this as an active part of our workout, not just kind of dumping in and hanging out. So really want to find lots of length and lots of activation through the body while we do our stretching too. Hands are shoulder width distance, knees are 4 inches apart parallel. Nod the chin. Round the spine, similar to how we started the workout, really finding that length in the spine, but this time the tailbone also melts down heavily. Inhale as we unfurl and unwind, opening the heart to gaze forward. Exhale as we round. Articulating through the spine, opening up the back. We did a lot of work focused right around the center of our body. Exhale, last time, rounding down. Inhale as we gaze forward. And that will do it. Thanks for joining me for the plank party, guys. I loved working out with you, and I hope you had a great time.